Hello everyone, today I will introduce to you the latest member of the Tencent RISC-V family, CH570. It's an MCU that supports 4-speed USB and 2.4 GHz. Using it can make your device's complicated cables disappear. First, let's take a look at the peripherals of CH570. CH570 has a built-in 26-bit timer. This timer supports capture, sampling, and PWM output. It supports encoder mode. In addition to this timer as a PWM, it also supports another 5 PWMs. CH570 has a built-in UART that supports up to 12.5 Mbps NSPI and an iPhone C. CH570 has a built-in 20-channel key detection function, including 10-channel matrix area keys and 10-channel independent area keys. It supports key detection in sleep mode. CH570 has a RAM size of 12 KB, a flash size of 256 KB, and 12 GPIOs. CH570 has a built-in 2.4G transceiver, baseband, and link control. The receiving sensitivity reaches -19.5 dBm. The transmission power is adjustable between -25 dBm and 7.5 dBm. It supports 2 Mbps and 1 Mbps. The maximum polling rate can reach 8 kHz. CH570 has a built-in 4-speed USB controller and PHY. USB supports host and device modes. Built-in 5.4 supports DMA. CH570 has a built-in voltage comparator that supports 16 reference voltages. It is equivalent to a 4-bit ADC. This is a CH570D development board and its schematic. It can basically meet the functional verification requirements of the early stage of the project. These materials will be placed in the CH570 SDK file. The SDK file of the CH570 can be downloaded from the following address. The example file contains reference examples of the use of various peripherals. The PUB file contains the reference schematic of the CH570. First, we need to install MounRiver, the IDE for developing CH570. Open MounRiver's official website. Click here to download. Next, download the SDK file for CH570. You can search and download it from WCH's official website. This is the download link. Click here to download. I have downloaded the file and installed the software. Let's open a CH570 example for demonstration. CH570 and CH572 share the same SDK file. Because CH570 only supports 2.4 GHz and not BLE, the above BLE-rated examples cannot be used. Only the two examples at the bottom, RF Basic and RF PHY, can be used. This time, we choose the RF PHY example for demonstration. This is the main function of this example. The code related to 2.4 GHz initialization and communication logic is in RF5.C. The example initializes 2.4 GHz to transmission mode by default. Compile the project and download the firmware to CH570. The tool used for downloading is WCHISPStudio. It has been integrated in MounRiver. The download steps of CH570 are as follows. First, connect the CH570 development board to the PC via USB cable. It is not necessary to power on the CH570 at this time. Second, press the download button and power on the development board. At this time, the chip will run bootloader. The PC will recognize a USB device. WCHISPStudio will automatically recognize that the CH570 is connected to the PC. Pay attention to whether the USB cable contains data cable and whether the VCC and 3V3 pins in the upper left corner of the development board are shorted with a jumper. Third, select the firmware file we want to download. The firmware file is generated in the obj folder of the project. Fourth, click Download. Let's modify the example and change the function to receiving mode, then compile and download using the same method. At this time, the firmware of 2.4 GHz transmission and 2.4 GHz reception are downloaded to the two CH570 respectively. Then check their working conditions through the debugging data printed by UART. Connect the UART-O TXT pin PS3 of the development board to the UART debugging tool. On the UART debugging software, we can see that the receiving module successfully receives the data sent by the transmission module and prints it out. Okay, that's the quick start of CH570. Come and try upgrade your wired devices to wireless devices. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or send a private message to any of our accounts. Thank you for watching. See you next time.